It's not on yet. I'm on. Okay, going live in 0. The video is live now. It says. Oh, they can hear us. Hi everyone, good evening. Let us know where you're watching from. And just a reminder, you know, this is really a conversation for our time together, which I look forward to each week. And feel free to answer, to post questions, or if you have any comments, things you want to know about, please put a note there in the comment section. Yes, Paul, I agree. It is a great view. I don't know. Excuse me, we're having slight technical difficulties today. Okay. So yes, please let us know what you want to chat about this evening. And look forward to our conversations together. Good, you guys? Yep. You want to start? Yeah. Hello, Detroit. Eric. Hi, Eric. Hi, Jessica from Michigan. Aw, cheers from cold. Hi, Mike in New Jersey. I'm sorry it's cold and rainy. We had a really beautiful day today. It was 86 today here at the Hill. So really warm and beautiful spring day we've had. Hello, Natalie from Boston. Thanks for joining us. Oh, there's more. Hi, Tim. Thanks for joining us again. Sally, Judy, and Tim in Nashville. Hello. And Jim in Colorado. Tracy, Denver. Hello. In Pennsylvania, Katrina. Hi, Karen in North Carolina. Okay, and we're ready to get started. So yes, hello, welcome back to Wine Wednesday. We are, put my water over here. It is starting to be windy all of a sudden, so breezy. We've got our internet go down and all the good stuff. But anyways, happy Wednesday. Time to have some wine and connect. And I hope you all are doing well out there. I know it seems to be I would say an emotional-filled week this week. It feels like there's a lot of this pandemic that we all have been living. It's just really starting to get to a lot of us, I know, out there. So I hope you all are well, and sending you my virtual hugs and just really a lot of gratitude that you're here today. I am Marisa Taylor, the winemaker at Rutherford Hill, and this is our number 4 of our 5-week series. And just a little fun fact, since we're on week 4, 4 is my favorite number. And we are tasting a 2014 Petit Verdot today. So it's a little fun little coincidence, or maybe it's not. So anyways, that's really fun. So our 5th week here, and we were...
Marisa, we have someone watching on a hotspot because their power's out. They're so dedicated to watching.
Oh, thank you for who's watching on their hotspot. Appreciate it. We are also filming this on a hotspot, so we have something to comment this evening. The internet just went crazy 15 minutes ago. So, anywho, week 4 of the tasting here at Rutherford Hill Winery, Gelato family owned, and excited to be tasting the 2014 Petit Verdot with you this evening. Our food pairing this evening, I believe, what was the one that went out? Pulled pork. It was a pulled pork recipe. Sorry, I'm reaching out to the production assistants over there. So this week we are featuring, we picked up a pulled pork sandwich from Farmstead here in St. Helena, and they are a full circle company. They have winery, Long Meadow Ranch, Farmstead, and so we have their delicious pulled pork sandwich. Came with some potatoes, and of course we had to throw in a cheddar biscuit and some coleslaw. So can't go wrong with our pairing tonight. So if you are local, please support the local folks. They also have farm boxes, which I picked up myself on Monday. So if you want a farm box, that's a great place to go. Super local here in their fruit. It's grown in Rutherford. So, okay. So, shall we get started? Okay. So, if you've opened your bottle of wine, which I'm assuming you have, since we are getting ready to start and probably taking a few sips to get ready here for this evening, you probably noticed when you pulled the cork out that, see these wine diamonds? I don't know if they're showing up. They're sparkling. And I even ended up with a little bit of chunk here of diamonds. So wine diamonds are a natural product that the wine will, it's like a bonus gift, is the way I look at it. So the wine as it ages, it forms these crystals. So it's just natural. There's nothing wrong with the wine. You can eat them if you feel like, if you get a little on your tongue. They're quite acidic. No problem. So, and if they're a little bit more chunky in your wine, usually it'll just end up being kind of on the top of the cork here. This one also had a little bit at the top, and I just poked it out, but not a big deal. Won't affect the wine, won't affect the quality. It's just a natural thing. Shows that we're not manipulating the wine. We're not. It's a stylistic choice too that we just didn't cold stabilize the wine. So yeah, it's okay. No worries. So don't worry about that when if you've got that on your cork. We're in good company. So I like it. I think it's fun. So I like diamonds.
We have lots of wine.
Wine and otherwise. So lots of wine in there. So if you're concerned, you can always use a fine filter to decant it out. But don't worry. Usually it'll cling to the sides and not a big deal. So anyways, that was the first thing that I thought we should chat about, since that's what I noticed when I opened up this bottle today.
Brian asked tartaric acid.
Tartaric acid, yes, cream of tartar. Like we all cook with that cream of tartar. That's what that is. Yes. Thank you, Brian. Okay, so 2014, Petit Verdot. If you remember, 2014 was the year that we had a little earthquake here in Napa Valley on August 24th. And it was a year that it was earlier. It was an earlier vintage, and it was, we were having, it was one of the driest years that we had. And we were lucky that when the rain that we did receive that vintage, it was right at the end of February, early March. So our vines were able to get a nice dose of water right before they were doing their bud break thing. So it was like perfect timing for water, even though we got a little bit of it. And the season was just nice and warm. And we didn't have a huge amount of heat spikes that vintage. I think in June, or in that growing season, in June, we had a little bit of 100. But really, we had a nice, mild, warm, like kind of perfect summer growing conditions. Harvest started early. We started here at Rutherford Hill on August 15th that year with our Sauvignon Blanc. And so we actually had a couple tanks fermenting, and then we got hit with the earthquake on August 24th. We were very fortunate that the winery, we didn't have any major damages. We had our break room clock fell and cracked. But we were lucky that that was the only thing. We didn't have any wine loss, or all of our staff was, they were all safe, and that was the main thing that, obviously that's the most important thing. So, and wine, we actually had a little bit of our tanks in the cellar. They did some rocking of their own, so they rock back and forth, and that's why that they are bolted down into the cement and the pads. So we did have a little bit of shimmy on the screws. They popped up a little bit, but nothing topped over. So we were really fortunate, and we took a few days break that vintage, and then we got back started August 28th with a little bit more Sauv Blanc. And this lovely wine that we're going to taste here and talk about was harvested at the end of our vintage, so October 10th. We ended that year on October 14th, 2014. See, another 4. So exciting. So, and yeah, so super cool. So it was a nice long, it was a big harvest for us here as far as wine that we were producing that year, and it was just with that earthquake starting at the rocking us at the beginning, it just really put a little bit more of, intensity and just emotion and focus. But again, another thing to remind us of counting our blessings. So Petit Verdot, what do you know about Petit Verdot? We talked about it on week 1 when we tasted the Barrel Select. The Barrel Select had a little bit of this Petit Verdot in there, different vintage. And Petit Verdot is known, we usually refer to it as a blender. It's a Bordeaux grape, a dark skin, often referred to as a black-skinned, thicker-skinned grape that brings a lot of tannin and color to wine. So usually, it's only blended in perhaps like 10% or less is usually kind of, I would say, if you looked at the broad range of wines that use this grape, to blend it back in, because a little goes a long way with this wine, with this grape. And actually, I believe 2001 was the first year that we started making a standalone varietal. I think previous winemakers thought, why not? It's such a good and fun grape that why not show folks what it can do and what it can be. So we started doing that. This particular vintage, 2014, it is 100% Petit Verdot, which is a rarity. It's not always 100%, and so super fun. I know I love this wine. I think it's just so fun. So this wine comes from, we've talked about mountain fruit a lot too in this series, from a vineyard called Stagecoach Vineyard up in Atlas Peak. It ranges over edge of Pritchard Hill over to Atlas Peak, and it is 600 acres, and it is the largest contiguous vineyard in Napa Valley. That's another little fun fact. So it's a really beautiful, I should have printed a picture to show you. It's really beautiful. If you go Google Stagecoach Vineyard, you'll see a little video out there with the owner, one of the owners, Jan Krupp, showing it off, and it's just amazing. I love going up there. I love going to sample a lot of volcanic, rocky soil, and it's just amazing. So it's amazing that Jan Krupp saw an ad in a newspaper in 1991, and then started developing it in 1995, is what I was reading. So we've actually had a contract with him since 1997. So it's really fun that we've been getting, and that wine is in this glass, so that block. Yeah.
There's a question from Natalie. What qualities make a blending grape potentially transition to be a good single varietal?
What qualities?
Yeah.
Okay. Natalie asked what qualities makes a blending grape that transition into a standalone. I think that when you find such a special vineyard and just source, and that you just want to bottle it up so you can kind of showcase what that attribute brings to the wine. And it's just really a special vineyard. And so we decided to do that. And Petit Verdot has a quality of being super tannic, more hefty, just muscular, just really big. And it was like, how can we ferment it, or to maybe mellow it out a little bit, or what can we do stylistically to help it so it could be a standalone. So it really just depends on how you're going to utilize that grape. That really is a decision that you make at harvest on how you choose to ferment it, leave it on skins longer. Do you want to let it, really extract as much as it can from those thick skins? Do you want to press it off earlier? I mean, there's lots of different things you can do to then decide where you're going to use it. We do a little bit of both. We may split it up and do different things with it. This wine was in tank for 11 days, and we pressed it off and let it settle for a few days, and then we actually put it in about 80% new French oak, and let it finish. It really finishes fermenting, going through malolactic in barrel, and it really helps create, well, see if it's still there, hopefully. It really helps create like a roasted coffee smell aroma that you get oftentimes with Petit Verdot for us here. And it helps, the oak will help kind of soften those tannins out a little bit, help maybe balance them out. And that's kind of what we're looking at to bottle up. But at the same time, it's nice because it does have, I feel this has softened a little bit over the years in bottle, but it is still got a lot of, it's just really rich, and it's full-bodied, and it just has a lot of structure, which is amazing, which is like, if you're a barbecue person, you love those grilled meats, spare ribs, aged cheese, if you don't eat meat. This is really your wine, your go-to if you're going to have a big old thing of meat. So it'll be good, nice to balance it off the tannin.
Yeah. And a question from Elizabeth Yana. Do you have a favorite Bordeaux varietal?
Oh. Elizabeth, hi Elizabeth. Do I have a favorite Bordeaux varietal? Well, I love all of them. I love all of them. I have a soft spot for Malbec, but I love them all because I think they all bring different things to the blend. So they're great tools to use to, depending on what blend style you're after. So I'd have to say that I do love all of them. Yep. So.
And a question from Lisa, asking in particular about the 2012, but in general with the Petit Verdot, how long would you recommend cellaring?
Okay. Question about cellaring for Petit Verdot. Petit Verdot, I think it is a younger, personally, I think you can lay it down because it has so much tannin. We did taste through, I pulled up, for this tasting, which I really appreciate. I mentioned it last week that it's really fun to like dive back into what harvest was like and get back into that place of memory lane with these wines that we tasted 2004, and it was tasting gorgeous. So I think Petit Verdot, what I've heard when I talk to other winemaker friends, that they prefer to drink them younger. They don't age as long, like 30 years per se, but it's better to maybe drink within that 10, 15 to 15 year range. But I think it's also, it's that personal preference like we talk about each week, that it's about kind of stylistically what it is that you like. A lot of us like fresher wines. We like the fruit, and we like it to be a bit more big like that, or some of us like to just like let them go and get those other nuances of the fruit kind of, it softens, the fruit goes away, and you get more spice component. So the Petit Verdot, I think this one, well, let's taste it, and then we can chat about, does that sound good?
Yeah. And then there's a question from Sharon on why the vineyard is called Stagecoach.
Maybe to piggyback off that, how often do you get out and visit?
Okay, so why is it called Stagecoach? It is called Stagecoach because there was a bandit. I'm going to cheat and look at my notes. His name was Bart Black or something. Is that right? Yeah, Black Bart. I said it backwards. Black Bart, that was in the 1800s. He robbed the daily stagecoach that went over from St. Helena to Monticello. And so that is where they came up with the name Stagecoach. When I went there for the first time in 2004, when I started here, I was told by the winemaker when we went out there, because I was like, I asked the same question, why is it called Stagecoach? And he said because he envisioned what it was like coming west. You could picture a stagecoach with the tumbleweed sort of things, and it looked like something out of a movie. But that is what, when I was doing my research, that it was Black Bart, right? Black Bart. Robbing the stagecoach. So that is where the name came from. And how often do I go to the vineyards? Well, I was in the vineyards this morning. We were talking about suckering and how our young vines were coming along and what the next stages were. So I would say I'm at this point, this time of year, at least once a week. and when it gets closer to harvest, multiple times a week. So usually during harvest, I'm in a vineyard at least every day. I'm in a vineyard. It just may be a different vineyard. It depends on kind of the ripening of when things are getting close, and sometimes we do a divide and conquer. Well, if you have an intern, harvest intern, or other winemakers on staff, we'll just choose to divide and conquer to make sure somebody's getting out there to assess the fruit and the quality, what's going on. So, yep.
There's a question from Wesley. Why is Petit Verdot used so commonly in blends but in smaller amounts?
Hi, Wesley. I think it's my cousin, huh? Hi, Wes. Why is it used so small? Because it is such a big wine. When you ferment Petit Verdot on skins and you let it go to dryness or let it hold out longer, there's so much tannin and structure in the skins that you don't need a lot you don't need very much to help balance out the blends. So it's just one of those things. So you don't have to do that. So unless that's stylistically you want it to be bigger than that, you would add more. But historically, when you look at kind of the broad range of wines, in Bordeaux they have more plantings of Merlot and Cab, so those make up the breadth of what the base of the wine is. And these are like the accents, the spices. Okay? So, should we taste?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you can see, it's dark. It's a darker color. And Petit Verdot is known more to have characteristics of blackberry, those darker fruits, like even some blueberry with black cherry. Also, we mentioned last week with the spice component, we talked about you'll get the floral component too of this. You can get some lavender, sometimes violet is often described with Petit Verdot. I also get some kind of, I always say herb de Provence, or a little bee here, yellow jacket. There's also some of those kind of notes to the savory herb components that can be attributed to Petit Verdot. Petit Verdot, that's the other thing too about harvesting. Petit Verdot is a later ripening grape than Cab Sauvignon. So it is, that's why when I say it came at the end of harvest, it was October 10th and we finished October 14th. It generally comes in after Cab Sauv. So that's why you'll sometimes get those little herbal threads in the wine.
And a question on a similar vein from Tim. Do you go into the vineyards and pick the grapes to taste so that you know when to pick them? And do all the blocks ripen at the same pace? Or do you find that there's a variance?
Yes. Tim, your question, yes. Tim was asking about harvest with grapes, and do we bring them in all at the same time, or do we harvest them separate? We do samples in the vineyard, so we do go out and do sampling. We do berry sampling, and then when it gets closer, we'll do cluster weights, what we call cluster weights, where we'll get at least 30 clusters and get a better sense of what the yield will be. But we do berry sampling. That's part of those, every day being in the vineyard during harvest is to sample, and then we bring it back to the lab and analyze to get a sense of what the sugar level is, what the acid level is, to make those picking decisions. And then we do pick the block separate. We've even pick, maybe even if you have a block, we will pick based on what the vigor or the ripeness is. We'll split it up. So yeah, all of those decisions will be made during harvest, and really every vintage is its own unique playbook. So yeah, every year will be a little bit different. You do make those choices, like right now with the meetings in the vineyards, the growing season, to make the best choices you can to help balance out the vineyard, and then you make the best decision you can when it comes closer and you see how things are ripening or what Mother Nature gives you, because that definitely comes into play with our picking decisions. What are you thinking of the wine? Have you tasted it? Do you think it's a little different than other wines that we've been tasting in the series?
I just asked everyone to give us some notes on what they're getting, but we've had lots of comments of people loving the Petit Verdot.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, one question from Eric. He loves everything from Rutherford Hill. Are there any other Terlato wines that you recommend?
Oh, there's lots of
Terlato
other.
family, yeah.
There's a lot of other
That you
Terlato
love,
wines
yeah.
that I love. A lot of other Terlato family wines. Sister Winery down the road, Chimney Rock Winery, if you're all familiar with that. Beautiful, beautiful Cabernets. I love the Ganymede. That's one of my favorites. And then also we have a sister winery down at Santa Barbara, Sanford. Big fan of their Pinot and Chard. So, yeah, I think we're pretty lucky to have such a talented winemaking team and such beautiful wines that we're able to share with one another. So, yeah, I would not pass any of those up.
Darla's getting black cherry and floral.
Black cherry, Darla, black cherry and floral. Yep,
And
for
then
sure.
In the meantime, Victor asked us to wish Angela a happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Angela, from Victor. Thank you for joining us. Ching ching.
Tracy says she's getting a hint of mushroom.
Hint of mushroom. Yep, I could see that too. There can be some earthiness too to the wine sometimes, and yeah, mixed all in there. It's like lots of lovely layers there. And also, just since we're doing toasts, just to think also of as we're approaching the weekend. I know it's Mother's Day weekend, so just wanted to do a little toast to all you moms and all you women really out there, because you all influence people whether you have your own children or not. So thank you for being you, and cheers to you. Cheers to us, right? Ching ching. And also an extra special one out to Karen in North Carolina. Your lovely daughter is doing well, and we love her. So she sends her happy Mother's Day wishes. Ching ching.
Kevin wants to know if Petit Verdot should be decanted.
I think it could be decanted for sure. When I opened this, when I was getting ready on Monday, we checked. That's when we did a little tasting with the 04. I was like, oh, you need to decant this. But yeah, for sure. If you have a decanter and you're gonna enjoy the bottle tonight, yeah, feel free. It'll definitely change it. Even if you just took another glass and you went back and forth, you'll see that there's a lot more volume and the aroma changes a lot. So yeah, it's not a bad idea.
What qualities or background does one need to have to be a harvest intern?
We are taking harvest intern applications if you want to send them in.
Someone asked me.
What background? You need to have number one, you need to have a passion for wine and learning. And we get a gamut of folks that come on, whether you have a background in science or art or all that good stuff. I think the main thing is having a passion for what you want to do. And we've had people in transition, changing careers. We've had folks straight out of college coming on. So, hey, if you want to be an intern, send us your resume. Seriously. We are starting to look at resumes, by the way, too.
Gary said we mentioned picking in a block. What is a block?
What is a block? That's what we refer to as a section of a vineyard. So, for instance, this wine came from block, as the Stagecoach Vineyard has it mapped out, a block called M2, and it's a section of a vineyard that is, designated to us because we were purchasing the fruit. We also, in our own vineyards, we have it's just designations of like between rows and kind of quality. We just refer to it as a block. It's a section of a vineyard. That would be the simple answer.
Some more tasting notes coming in. Elizabeth's tasting roasted coffee and blueberry. And
yeah.
Caroline wants to know if it's normal to taste a buttery type taste.
If it's normal to taste a buttery type taste, yeah, you could do that, like a soft kind of. Yeah.
And then
that would be kind of the oak and the ML going through in the wine, because it did finish at malactic in the barrel, so maybe that's what you're picking up on.
And two more shout outs. We have an engagement. Jack and Emma got engaged.
Jack and Emma, congratulations, you got engaged. That's exciting. Cheers.
Kathleen is celebrating a birthday.
And Kathleen is celebrating a birthday. Happy birthday, Kathleen. That's my middle name, by the way, Kathleen. Good name. Happy birthday.
And someone says decanting guarantees they drink the whole bottle.
Yes. Decanting, yes, you drink the whole bottle. So maybe if you don't have to work or anything going on, but do that around your schedule. If you want to keep your job. What else?
Ed wants you to know that they joined the wine club because of the Petit Verdot.
Oh, I love that. That's exciting. Yeah. Oh, one of the things is Petit Verdot is not it's not a wide range planting in Napa Valley. It's about 1% of the vineyards out in the vineyards. So there's 1% of the wine grapes that come in for Napa's Petit Verdot. So it's pretty special. So I hope you're enjoying it out there. Okay, so we are going to wrap it up, and truly appreciate you joining me today, and I look forward to tasting with you next week. We'll be tasting our 2016 Oakville Merlot, delicious. But here's to you, and hang in there. We'll get through this, and stay safe, and yeah, cheers. Happy Mother's Day. Happy birthday.